Alrighty, I've got a bit of a riddle for you guys. What do you get when you take one of the best racing frames of 2018, mix it in with the massive DRONER and combine it with some of the engineering that goes into the smooth operator? Well, stay tuned because you're about to find out. G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, what we're checking out, this is a video for you hardcore racers out there, you people, you care about winning, you want to maximize performance, and I know on UAVfutures we do a lot of cheap kits, value kits, cheaper bind flies. Throw that all out the window. That's not what this video is about today. This one is for you racers who take racing seriously. We're going to be looking at Catalyst Machine Works' new 5-inch 2019 season of racing, the Raging DRONER, and let me tell you, you are definitely going to have something pretty raging after checking this thing out. So what we're going to do, this is the part one, the bench breakdown. We look at the text and the specs. YouTube, thank you very much. Part two should be up there. That's when we fly it around and really put it through its paces with the 6S, a 4S. We've got Ranger on the sticks, a whole bunch of boys having some fun, ripping this thing around. It is a screamer. What we're going to do, let's break it down right now and find out why. If you really are serious about racing, and Catalyst Machine Works makes some of the best stuff in the biz as far as they're at the pinnacle, the spear, the tip of racing. There's going to be so many innuendos in this video, I can just imagine. Put your best raging innuendo down below. But yeah, we're going to break it down and find out why this thing, it's doing some things pretty special. So first things first, as a bit of an overview, you can see I've got my GoPro mount on here. This is not really what it's designed for. Of course, I love my GoPro footage, all that sort of stuff, but first and foremost, this is a racer. So I'll be taking that out. I'll show you some pictures on the screen, what it looks like without it as well. But what we should do, let's stick it on the scales, and then we're gonna break it down, look at some of its components. Hopefully this is all gonna be in focus there. I've got mine with the GoPro mount coming in at about close to 225, 230 grams. So this thing, it's definitely a fairly light little rig. You take it off, you can really build this if you want to get the highest thrust to weight ratio. You can build this thing extremely light. I'm going to put a picture on the screen if you don't believe me. Like, how light do you think light is? What about this? 250 grams for a 5-inch racer. You can imagine when you drop the throttle on something like that with so much performance at such a lightweight, it is going to disappear to the moon. There's some really cool design features. We're going to break it down when we look at it a little bit as well. But what I do want to say, I've got like a pre-run version or something that's very close to the final product. I'll put the links down below. I'm not 100% sure if they offer a bind and fly or what this deal is. I know I'll definitely put the frame link down below, and if they don't offer a bind and fly, because I did get sent to bind and fly, maybe hit them up, email them. Maybe I'm making more work for them or any, I'm not 100% sure on that part, but what I did get was absolute premium quality as well with the bind and fly I got. I'll try and see if I can get a link, but what we should do, let's break it down, quickly go through some of the components. We're going to start at the outside in, work our way towards the middle, and I do have to apologize here because originally when I got mine, you can see I had mine spec'd up for 6S, and this is just a bit of a testament to how much I like it. I've been flying this thing so much that I came home, I broke it down and converted it into a 4S, and the reason is simple, because I've got more 4S batteries. When I go out, I want to fly it more, and 4S is the only way I can really do that. If I had a whole bunch, like 30 plus 6S batteries, well, then I'd be staying on 6S, but I have sort of changed the internals just a little bit, but we're mainly going to be focusing on the frame anyway. Also too, I don't know where my chopstick's gone, so I've moved house, I've been searching everywhere. I had like a special UAVfutures one. I don't know where that is. Anyway, what we should do, let's break it down. Of course, 5-inch props. I think I've just thrown some GEM fans, some Gemi fans or something on the outside. I've just got some pretty generic diatone motors on here. The bind and fly that I got did have some of these F60s, the T motors, the 1750 kV version. These things are an absolute powerhouse of just insane performance. Moving towards the middle, you can see there's no ESCs on the arm or anything like that. It's all about streamlined performance. And what we do have, we have you put a 4-in-1 ESC in there. We've got our F4. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly too. You've just got your F4 flight controller on there. I think that one's from Pyroflip. We've got our receiver tucked in at the top, our little TBS Unify on the side, run cam at the front, little AXI antenna on the back, and I do love how hopefully this is in shot as well. I do love how you can simply just unscrew this, makes it very easy. If you come to a race, everybody's using right hand and you've got the option to put a left hand polarized antenna on there, you're going to be getting some better video feed. Everything that is in here is made to make racing simple, racing easy, and give you a bit of an edge when it comes to the podium. Now, that's probably the quickest I've ever gone through the components because I want to spend a lot of time talking about the design of this thing. The design right here, about how the frame comes together, that's where the real magic is. So if I flip it over, you might be able to see this a little bit better. You can see it's actually a dead cat style, which means the back ones, or the front arms, are sort of spread out a little bit more than the back ones, and that's meant to offer a few different things. It's meant to be a little bit more stable in the air. It does handle corners a little bit differently. The other part I really like in the design is your camera at the front right here. It is really down low towards the ground. It's at prop level, and that kind of gives a different feel when you're flying as well, and I gotta say, I really like it. It makes you feel kind of like you're more, as weird as this sounds, like with a pod, when you're on the top, you're kind of bobbling around the prop line. This one, it feels like your camera is sort of pulling your quad through the corners. That's a little bit tricky to describe, but let me tell you, it feels very, very good. You can see it has pretty extreme camera protection, which is really important. And one of my favorite features, I think, about this whole thing is you can get some of those ultralights out there that, you know, they have big power to weight ratios and they can go very, very quick, but they are pretty flimsy. They break easy, and it's just not ideal when it comes to racing. You hit a flag, and unfortunately, this, you know, some of those lighter ones, they're going to be broken. This is taking so many design cues from things like the massive DRONER and the smooth operator, where at the front we have this huge piece of carbon and the protection on the front here for your camera. This is not going to be breaking whatsoever, especially around flags and fields. So not only do we have something that is super light, it is also really, really robust, which means it is perfect for me because I crash a whole lot, but I still want to go fast, and as fast as I can, put this thing into a world of pain, and that's what I love about this frame. Now, some other little design cues that I think are actually quite clever. Trevor? Design cues are, if you can see, it's got the same sort of split arms as the America. These are actually using the same arms as the America, so if you want to switch those out, you can. That's very easy. You know, you've got some spare replacements, but they're kind of on a split level. So the back arms are slightly raised to the lower arms, and that means on forward flight, you're going to be getting some cleaner air in the back props as well. Everything in here is designed to make a very smooth, reliable, easy to fly flight experience, so you can focus on your turns, on your lines. You don't have to fight the craft. It's doing exactly what you want. So it kind of feels a little bit like you're flying the simulator. Let me tell you, in the part 2, it's something special. You can tell how excited I am. Of course, you can sort of break it down a little bit. You don't have to have this back brace on here, but for those extra few grams, look, I'm going to be rocking it anyway because it does make it that little bit tougher. And then the only other part I want to point out in terms of design, I love the way the GoPro canopy comes in here. And in the part 2, we fly it without the canopy, and that's probably how I would recommend it if you're going to the races. Like, you don't need that HD footage. But if you're like me, one part I love track flying, less about the going to the race events, but I love like track flying, almost like time trials, just putting down lap after lap after lap. And I want to record it for you guys as well. So I love the GoPro solution they've got coming in here. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. It's very nicely mounted. It fits in the top. It's not going to be going anywhere, and it's still not too high either, so it's not going to affect the aerodynamics of the quad too much. If I get my America, which I've got here, something a lot of people didn't like about the America, I didn't mind it too much, but it could be a little bit tricky to work on, and I put so many packs through this. This has a very special place in my heart. Like for just a track fly, I absolutely love it. But working on the ESCs and stuff like that, when it came to the America, it could be a little bit tricky. This one right here, they've streamlined it. It is so easy to have access to your components. If something breaks, if you need to swap out your receiver, all that sort of stuff, you don't need to actually take the whole top canopy off or anything like that. You've just got really, really simple access to the outside. And let me tell you, when I was putting this thing back together, because I did have to do a bit of a rebuild because I wanted to keep this 6S ESC and these motors maybe for a future project and convert it to a 4S rig, well, it was a pretty simple process. It's just an improvement on the America in every single way. And it's kind of crazy. I believe it's coming in at even cheaper than the America when that first launched. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. But anyway, let's not complain if it's cheaper. That is good news for all of us. Now that brings us on to the quality of the thing, and I'll put a little poll up here, and I want to know, what do you think? What have you heard about Catalyst Machine Works quality, or do you fly it and all that sort of stuff? Because let me tell you, they are absolutely outstanding with the quality in terms of not only their builds, but the carbon, how it's cut, the carbon that they use. Catalyst Machine Works, it's kind of renowned for amazing customer service and looking after their pilots, and also for the quality of their actual machines themselves. So they're definitely right up there, and they kind of remind me of Armaton a little bit. As far as I'm concerned, those two are just amazing in the biz. Armaton seems to be more freestyle focused, but Catalyst Machine Works, when it comes to racing, they are the top dog, or top quad, I should say, in the racing department. And that brings us on to the pros and the cons. And well, let's start off with the cons first. Yeah, it's not the cheapest in the world, I guess. I don't feel like it's expensive, and it doesn't have a crazy warranty like with a replacement warranty or anything like that. You are going to be paying for a bit of a premium frame, but That's kind of the only thing I don't like about it. Let's talk about the pros. So you've got an awesome low riding camera. You've got a dead cat style, which offers a bit more stability in the turns. I really like how it feels on the sticks. It's kind of like a sim mode. You've got split level, so it's getting better aerodynamics through the, I guess, better airflow into the rear props. It races amazingly, which is what it's all about. It's all about how it feels and how it actually performs. You can build it super light. It's robust. The quality is outstanding. Yeah, I don't know, it's ticking so many boxes. You can tell I'm excited. If you want something that is a premium racer that is really, really well thought out, well engineered, strong to boot, and crazy performance and feels amazing, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. This is definitely it. And what I really love as well is the GoPro mount for me. I love some HD footage as well. I know, you know, if you're hardcore into racing, you're not going to be using the GoPro mount much, but the GoPro that you do put in here, and I'll put a picture on the screen as well, what it looks like without all this TPU mount, because you don't have to have that in there at all. It reduces the weight significantly if you take all that out and you take all this front part out. It's kind of like a bare bones sort of style, but for me, it's very important to have some HD footage in there as well, so I can show off to my mates, and not only can you scream around fast, but you can share that video later. So anyway, overall, I've got to say hats off to Catalyst Machine Works for making another amazing racing frame for 2019. If you're thinking about jumping into the racing scene, you want something that's going to give you insane performance, that's really up there, you want to aim for the podium, definitely look no further, because I feel like I'm just in love. I loved America when it came out. I love track flying. That is my favorite type of flying to do. And let me tell you, it takes a lot for me to be flying around on a quad to bring it home and convert it over, like do a full rebuild like I did with this. And that's pretty much exactly what I did. After I'd flown my 6S packs to show you guys and see what it's like and see all that in the part 2, I came home and I put 4S on there. And the reason is simple, because I want to fly it a lot more, and I've got a lot more 4S packs. But anyway, what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. I'll see if I can find something special or a discount code or something like that. So definitely check the description, and we'll see if we can get Catalyst Machine Works to do bind and flies. I'm not sure about the whole, any of that sort of stuff. I'm kind of throwing them under the bus there. Maybe I'm giving them too much of a workload. I'm not too sure what the deal is, but check the description, because maybe there'll be something special. Other than that, subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, maybe that could be a con, the Raging Droner. Maybe that's just a little bit too much for you, or maybe it's going to make you feel a little bit inappropriate and laugh too much, because I know I've been kind of giggling at the name for a while. Anyway, subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy flying. Oh, Catalyst asked me to put this in the video too. A big shout out to the distributors out there, so all the local FPV stores. Definitely send Catalyst Machine Works an email. I'll put their email down below if you're interested in carrying these in your store. So yeah, shout out to the distributors out there, or the vendors, because Catalyst wants to get in touch. Anyway, happy flying.